Oh, hi! This week I'm doing a quick skirt thing because it's summertime and I would like to limit the time spent over an iron, a sewing machine that gets warm when the light is on for too long, and also studio lights. I'm a sweaty beast and I don't want to be trapped in a hot room that I'm making hotter by being in it. I have been doing a lot of hand sewing stuff outside. I've been working on some projects for myself that I haven't been filming the process of. I was contemplating, if you all are interested in seeing them, even if I don't show you the actual process, I'll knowing me, I will probably ramble about the process of making them, but you just won't be seeing the step-by-step or anything. I may do like a summertime quarantine makes or something, so let me know if you're interested. I've just been kind of making them for me, and that's very nice. Listen, a lot of you wanted the gathered skirt tutorial, and it's something that I wanted to make, also have for my own reference in case I go a while without making one. It's one of my favorite style skirts, is that gathered skirt with a fitted waistband. Sometimes you need some stretch, and also sometimes you need something that's less fucking complicated, because I know there's a lot of numbers involved in that. So this is a much simpler version of making a gathered looking skirt, but with an elastic and less actual measuring. This will work for any size. You just gotta make sure you have enough fabric. So I'm just using a straight rectangle of fabric. It's folded in half. I'm about to press it all out because this is cut off of a dress that I will show you in a second, because I was given two of them by my awesome sister. It's the coolest fabric. It's my first time using a border print. I'm jazzed about it. I'm also debating adding some lace to the bottom edge. We'll see how it's looking. If you want to actually measure this stuff out, cool. If you just want to like hang the fabric around you, whatever your preference is, you do you, and it's gonna work out fine. Oh, also, I will be adding pockets to this. I'm not gonna show you the process. I'm not gonna let myself make things without pockets if it's an option to add them, because I'm fucking worth pockets in all my garments. I will put a little card up here to the gathered skirt video where I do show you how to add pockets. And I also have another video I will link in the description, kind of just focuses on the pocket part for another skirt. It's adding it into an already existing skirt, so there's some steps you can probably skip. But yeah, if you want to learn about pocket shit, those are places I have talked about it more. So yes, as for measurements and making sure this rectangle of fabric is gonna fit around to my waist, there's plenty of room. It's not twice my size, but I'd say like 1.5 times my size. Just make sure you have room for seam allowance. You don't have to be precise about this at all. As well as my waist, I just need to make sure it's going to fit around the biggest part of me. I know your hips are here, but when you take your hip measurement, it's kind of figuring out like the height of where your butt is. And for me, that's here and around. So like my waist is around 31-ish inches at this current juncture in time. My hip is about 41 inches, 41.5 maybe. So there's plenty of room in this. If you have limited fabric, you want at least a few inches wider than your hip because you need seam allowance. Because I'm adding pockets, I'm gonna have 2 side seams, but if you want to preserve as much fabric as you can, just take the whole length and then have a seam at the back. Obviously, as this is off of an existing garment and has a border print, it's very easy to tell which direction this needs to go. If you aren't sure, whatever way gives you the most stretch, you want going across you bad. So let me show you the other dress. They're the same size. I just unpicked the skirt part. All right, now that I have more floor space in here, I wonder if I can actually fit in frame better. Yeah, I suppose so. So yeah, as you can see, the dress is not a good fit for me. I fucking hate these sleeves. It has like a little keyhole guy in the back. Just isn't very well made. The zipper at the side is broken. Can't fight the hoarding instincts inside of me, and took both of the dresses and was like, yes, I will make something with these. She did give me these dresses sometime last year, maybe a full year ago. Just feels good to like constantly be making more space in here by using stuff that I have. We're not going to talk about the absolute fucking massive stack of fabric that is just off screen here, but those are for face masks and we just don't talk about it, okay? I'm gonna start another batch possibly after I make this because I got friends I gotta protect, you know? So I have my ironing board here. That's when you know I'm like serious about a project. I'm also just trying to get better. I'm gonna press this out and then I will be cutting this in half so that I can do 2 side seams and add the pockets in. And then we're gonna have a big tube. If you don't wanna add pockets, just keep it as one flap. I mean, attach as many pieces as you need to, depending on what you're working with, how wide the bolt of fabric you're starting with is. Whatever you need to do to get that 1.5 times your hip measurement, and just making sure that it is at least a couple inches bigger than your hip measurement. Boy, I'm very good at mixing up words that I'm saying, so I hope that I didn't fuck those up, but if not, I will hopefully have edited the proper wording on the screen if I did. But yes, so just account for seam allowance. However many seams you're doing, the more seams, the more seam allowance. Anywhere you're sewing pieces together, we're gonna get to a tube that's gonna fit around you with some wiggle room. Is this making sense? Is this at all helpful? I hope so. How good is this fabric? It's like nighttime spooky owls. I am here for it. There's even a little owl on the moon and I love him. But yes, on top of fabric and an iron, we're also gonna need matching or contrasting fabric for pockets if you are adding pockets. If not, you're fine. I'm going to use, I think, 1 inch wide elastic. Let me confirm before I talk a bunch of shit that I don't actually know if I have. Yeah, I'm gonna use either this like 1 inch wide or this like 1 1/4 inch wide. Anything in that terrain ought to do it. Oh, also, like, make sure you have fabric that is long enough for you. This is important. I want this to hit just above my knee, right? I have this sitting at the small of my waist, but I need to keep in mind that this is gonna get folded under to make a casing, which is gonna bring this up a solid 2 inches. Just allow for 2 inches at the top. Again, if you're using inch wide elastic. Also give yourself about 1 inch for hemming at the bottom. I always wait to hem at the very end of the project. Once the rest of it's together and you try it on, then you can adjust for the length. Yeah, other than fabric, elastic, iron, I may be adding lace at the bottom, matching thread, sewing machine, scissors, probably pins, you know, the usual shit. How your seams overlap are noticeable on things like the hem. I have certainly in the past done projects where something's already been hemmed, or I did the hemming at the bottom of each thing before I attached the sides together, and then like the side seam just like keeps peeking out, or it's just a little bit uneven. It absolutely drives me nuts. So I have learned that if I have something that's already hemmed and I'm adjusting the sides in any way, to just unpick that hem, do whatever attaching wizardry I'm doing with that side seam, and then I will attach these two edges together while they're open like that, rather than having it already hemmed and lining up these edges and it looking like that. Because then when it folds out, you could have bits peeking out. I just haven't been happy with things when I have done anything after hemming when the side seams are involved. I just wanted to note about the hem thing, because maybe it's just something that has never occurred to you before. I never heard anyone mention it, especially me as someone that does a lot of thrift flips and like uses already existing pieces. Something like an original hem is something I would try to keep. Open your hems if you're fucking with side seams or anything that gets folded over and cuffed like that. Oh my god, okay. So speaking of cuffs, I was looking at a sewing supplier website and there is a tool for pressing and ironing, I think. I don't know, I've never heard of nor seen this, but it's called a cuff clam and I cannot stop giggling about it. It is the dumbest sounding shit I've ever heard and I'm just delighted. Okay, here is my tube. Sides are sewn together. Oh no! You know what I'm realizing? I just kind of grabbed whatever pocket pattern was first available to me. I think it'll be fine, but word to the wise, if I had fucking thought 2 steps ahead at all, I would have just done a normal in the side seam pocket. But I'm gonna see how this goes, I guess. So I know I said I wasn't going to show you the process of putting in the pockets, but I do also want to be honest about the troubleshooting that I'm doing while working on what should have been like an hour-long project. And what a surprise, it's much later in the day. I was hoping to get like a bunch of things done today, and I will probably just get this done. But that's also okay. Compassionate deadlines, as Noelle from Costuming Drama has been saying. I'm gonna decide which side will be my front, and I'm just gonna tack the top of this pocket to the top of the skirt. And then I'm gonna serge all of that and like serge the top of the pocket into the skirt. It's gonna add bulk to the casing for the elastic, and I hope it doesn't make it look weird. I think all of this is very, very lightweight cotton. I don't even know if this is like quilting weight cotton. It's very wispy, I guess. Also, this is the color combination I picked because, you know, sometimes you get like a little peek of the pocket color, and I'm so smitten. All about those jewel tones, baby! Speaking of troubleshooting and things, I have one more thing I wanted to show you before we jump to the waistband part, and that is just that I have been adding pockets to more and more things. I wasn't 100% happy with some of the first projects I did, but as with fucking everything on the planet, you get better the more you do it. And I'm really, really proud of how it looks. It just makes me want to continue getting better at pockets because this is nice. This is a good feeling. So, as you can see, I have the top serged. Cool. What I'm going to do is take my iron and press this serged edge over like 1/4 inch up to maybe 1/2 inch. As I said, I serged the tops of the pockets in here, and I'm just basically gonna pretend it's not there. I should have known better, but you know, here we are. Hopefully you can actually see the skirt. All right, so this is pressed down. I'm gonna take my elastic and just fold it under, and you want to have a little room on either side of this. Now, obviously you can do this properly and like measure it out. I want about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch on both sides. I'm actually going to take my craft clips that have little notches on them, and I'm just gonna go pretty much all the way over. So my elastic is 3/4 of an inch wide. This has 1/4 inch either side because it's about 1 1/4 inches. So I'm gonna take a minute, really make sure that this is all even, clip it in a few places, and then press that down as well. Okay, so this is in place. We did it. Holy shit, I cannot tell you how much better pressing stuff is going since I was gifted a steamable iron by my fairy god Cheryl. Really, really like it, and it is very much upped my sewing game, and like, damn, what a difference. Steam. Who'd have thought? Except I definitely knew and then just stubbornly didn't invest in myself and get a fucking new iron. Okay, so we have our casing ironed and everything. So all I do is well, let's shimmy this down a bit. Here's my waist. If you're not sure, if you just tie some elastic around your middle and then you like move and bend, it's gonna go to your natural waist, which for me is like the smallest part of my torso. I've already cut mine and it may look like it's too short, but you want it to have to stretch a little bit, but not so much that it's comfortable. So only take like 1 inch or 2 away from like what your waist measurement would be. And also you need some room to overlap the ends of the elastic. It's not like crazy taut, but there's a little tension when it's sitting, just so it doesn't fall down. Okay, so I'm going to do a row of stitching as close to this edge. I'm gonna say about 1/8 of an inch in. Ooh, this is super not in frame. Cool. So like 1/8 of an inch from the top here. Maybe as much as like 1/4 of an inch. No further than that, because we want to make a row stitching that's going to go above and below the elastic. I got a nice even row going on over here. So now this is kind of tricky, but I honestly prefer it. Wow, my fucking camera skills are really on point today, huh? I'm gonna take the elastic, tuck it right against that set of stitches we just did. Get a good chunk of it like set under here. Then I'm gonna go by feel, so I understand if this seems more difficult than like feeding it through the casing once the casing is stitched first. Ooh, you know what's a good idea? I'm gonna switch to my zipper foot. You don't have to do this. This will make it a little easier and also help me keep my shit straight. Oh my god, it's so fucking humid in here. I'm going to rest my zipper foot along the edge of my elastic here because there's gonna be a little bit of a bump there. Oh, and if you're wondering what this thing is, I have a seam guide. Sometimes I will mark, as you can see here, I have a pen mark. Or maybe you can't see, I'm not sure. I have a pen mark here, and that has been a guide I've followed before, but that would take the place and I wouldn't have to dirty up my machine even more than it already is. So I'm using my fingers to just keep the elastic lined up as it's feeding in. I'm gonna take my time with this. This is actually something I'm trying to unlearn from some previous jobs I've had. I need, for me, to learn how to best do the thing and get lots of practice and also enjoy the process rather than it just be a matter of as time efficient as humanly fucking possible. Like, no, I'd rather take the time to kind of not perfect it, but you know, practice makes progress type of thing. And if I take my time and like really hone in on the stuff, as I get better, speed will come along with that. That is hard to navigate. Honestly, yeah, I've just found that I sometimes give myself too much grief for taking my time with some things. Actually kind of changed by a lot of you just mentioning in comments and stuff, not in a judgmental way, but kind of positive suggestions saying that you hand baste your zippers in before you sew them and you have a lot better luck lining up the back waistband and stuff, or you hand sew your hems and that's how you get that like wavy thing to not happen that I was having trouble with. It was taking hearing that and hearing that other people actually do it is also helpful. That I have finally found myself wanting to sit and hand sew a lot more than I used to because I thought it was frankly kind of a waste of time, but I see such a difference and I used to hate it, but the more I do it, the better I get at it and the more I'm enjoying it. And that's the whole point. Like, I feel like I lose that every once in a while, that sewing's supposed to be fun. Yes, it's hard work and certainly frustrating, but it should still overall be fun. Yes, it's my job in a lot of facets, but it's still my favorite thing to do. I need to not lose sight of that. I appreciate everybody being kind about your criticisms and just encouraging me to be better. I would not be as far along in my sewing journey without you all. I really appreciate everybody. All right, I went too deep in the cheese. But this is where I'm at with the elastic. So it's in case about halfway around right now. We're running out of room here. All you have to do is scrunch up this back half. And in case you were wondering why 2 rows of stitching, it is because it's going to help this lay flatter, where if I was scrunching this up right now, especially this much, there is no fucking way that this elastic would not be rolling over itself right now. That is my little pro tip. It totally levels up the casing. I'm just scrunching up, pulling the elastic. So now I have all of this room to go and I can continue on my merry fucking way. Okay, and now that I am back at the beginning and I just have this little bit of elastic sticking out, this is perfect. So I'm just gonna lay all this flat, see my fingers holding it in place, and then I can just close the whole thing up. All I need to do to straighten out where the elastic is sitting is just stretch it to like full capacity, and then it's gonna scrunch back up pretty evenly. So yeah, I was expecting it to kind of fuck up where the pockets are a little more, but this is not the worst. Ooh, that's not great. I'm gonna redo this bit of stitching here because I went over the pocket weird. Even though I pressed it, like it looks fine on this side. So I'm gonna fix that, as well as close up the hem from where I did the side seam. So I'll stitch that. I'm going to fold the hem up once more just to hide that serging and shorten the skirt a little bit. Now's a good time to like fit the elastic around you. Make sure you like the length and then hemming it. I like to serge it and then fold it up twice. Okay, so this is where it's hitting me now. Just above my knees. Oh, you guys. Are we at all surprised I forgot about the fucking lace? Also, can you tell how annoyed Bert is with all of this heat as well? I don't know, what do we think? I think I like it. I think I'm gonna add it. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Okay, it is 2 days later. Not only did I attach the lace, and I'll show you in a second, I unpicked the hem that I sewed because there were some stitching lines that went through the very bottom of the border print. Since I rolled the hem up, I unpicked it, sewed the lace to the original hem, right sides together, so then when I flipped it up, it peeks out, and I fucking love how it looks. Then I hand stitched the new hem in place, and I don't know who I've become, but I'm very thankful that whatever had to change in my brain to take the time to make the things nicer, so I will be more excited to wear it instead of just half-assing things to get it done quicker. I am so smitten with the skirt. Like, I liked it before, but just taking this little bit of time to do these little bit of tweaks and like fix the pocket at the top, this is like maybe my new favorite garment I've ever made. I love it. I love the stars up here, how they're kind of spattered, and then it like gets heavier towards the bottom. I've never even owned a border print garment before, and I'm really in love with the lace peeking out. I really like how this looks. I am just beyond jazzed, and like I said, a huge thank you to everyone that has kindly encouraged me along the way. My stubbornness may have kept me digging in my heels a little bit at first, but all of you like kindly encouraging me towards being a better seamstress. You have positively impacted my skill set and me wanting to do better and like putting that extra effort in. I'm making myself a lot of stuff that I'm genuinely enjoying wearing, and also making myself stuff like not always just for videos. I have a little downtime to practice outside of showing you all what I'm working on. Again, I can put together like some kind of lookbook thing. Oh, and this is reminding me. So there are 2 things I would really love your help on. I know you've already given me so much help as far as my like sewing nerdiness and like really geeking out about techniques and stuff. I still have 1 more panel this size from the first dress, and I have a whole second dress with 2 full panels of this fabric. I am thinking of using the rest of the skirt material to make stuff for my Etsy shop. Everything I've been making, for the most part, with the exception of like the onesies, I think rather than making more onesies, because I did finally sell the Pikachu one, which is amazing. Oh, and we're into July now, so I'm gonna do the accounting and stuff, but I want to say I raised about $80 once I take care of like the shipping and all the tax fees and all of that shit that like doesn't come to me, and all of that is getting donated to Black Lives Matter. Thank you all so much. Yeah, I'm proud that we got to do that. Anyways, let's focus. The onesies. I'm gonna switch, I think. We'll see how they do, but like for my own wearing preferences, I think I'm gonna switch to like a hoodie version, like same kind of setup with the hood. I did make a Pikachu and a Totoro one, so I'm basically just gonna like get rid of the bottom chunk of it. So that's one thing I'm going to be working on going forward. And they're like a little costumey, but still like casual, you know? But also, I would love to know what sizes you would like to see. So as far as like this skirt, I don't want to make it until I mean, again, I'm more than happy to like make it for one of you. It's funny, like I don't mind doing custom orders if I have some kind of rapport with the person, but the panic I get into when someone I don't know has ordered something custom through my Etsy shop, I'm just stressed the second the order comes in until it is out the door. And even then I'm like, they're gonna hate it. I have had some confidence building milestones happen in the past couple months. It seems kind of wild considering what is happening with the world. I know I can make the things and I wouldn't offer custom options for things that I don't know how to make. I just want to make sure whoever's ordering something from me that I'm making it to their liking and that they actually enjoy what they are paying for. I would like to make this in a size that is not just me, because all the skirts I've made so far have been my size, and I know it's a very limited waist measurement for other people. Whether or not you are interested in the skirt, it doesn't have to be your specific measurements or anything. I don't feel obligated to share personal information you're not comfortable with. But if you just have suggestions on sizes, I would like to kind of be more inclusive with the stuff I have in my shop is what I'm getting at, and not just if you have my body measurements, then you can have stuff that I have made. Like that isn't what I want to do. So yes, if you are willing to help give me a range of sizes to work towards, that would be super duper helpful. And I appreciate you helping me do that work. And as always, massive thank you to all of my patrons. I'm gonna try a thing where I have a tier perk where I'm supposed to do monthly shout outs, and because my filming schedule, like I don't always post stuff in order and I just can't fucking keep track of days, I don't do a good job of keeping up with those. So I'm going to make a point to add a little section here, or possibly it's centered over my face right now. I'm not sure, but these are the people that are allowing me to do the dang thing. And I'm gonna gush about this group every video going forward. So if you have any interest in me like possibly, I did just say possibly bonking my head onto your name, then I will link to my Patreon in the description and in the little end card, which is also possibly on the screen by now. I'm gonna go put this video together, hang out with my tiny little pup, break in my new favorite skirt, and I will see you all back here with another video next Friday. Thank you so much for hanging out. No one from the outside is any the wiser. Although if there's another person inside of my clothes, I have some other alarming questions.